The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
I'm Robin Berg. I'm an ex-Navy deep-sea diver and a marine naturalist. I've spent years filming and observing sharks in the wild.
And I'm Eli Martinez. I'm an expert on shark behavior. I'm on a mission to unravel the secret world of sharks and share what I've learned with you.
We're going to challenge everything you think you know about sharks.
Well, it's a hot day down here in southern Florida, and you can tell because I'm sweating like Fat Elvis. We're heading 6 miles offshore with Captain Randy Jordan of the Emerald and his crew in search of one of the most formidable pelagic sharks, the Dusky. Now, local divers have been reporting a number of Dusky sharks offshore, including a huge Dusky shark, possibly 14 feet long. Now, that Dusky shark is hanging off on the deep water ledge that's also home to a large number of aggressive bull sharks.
This makes interacting with Dusky sharks a lot more intense. Both bulls and Duskies tend to hunt in packs, which makes them more bold and more prone to approach divers, especially spearfishers who might have a fish they're trying to boat.
First, we need to locate that group of Duskies. We have a good idea of where they might be, but these are sharks. They're elusive, and they're also difficult to approach without food. Our first goal is to show you how they react to chum in the water, how that gets them going. And then we're gonna spear a fish right in their midst, and that's when it's gonna get crazy.
But Robin, our main goal is to try to find that monster Dusky shark. I've never seen a Dusky that big, and I really hope we get to see that animal. Dusky sharks are impressive. They average 8 feet in length, but can reach lengths of up to 14 feet and weigh over 700 pounds. This is a slender shark, and young Duskies are often confused with silky sharks because they're often seen together.
Duskies are long-lived sharks. They can live up to 50 years, and they don't reach sexual maturity till about 20 years of age. That's a big problem for this shark. They estimate that in the Gulf of Mexico and on the coast of Florida, Dusky populations are down about 15 to 20% of what they were in the 1970s, and this is due strictly to commercial overfishing. So what does a big bad shark like a Dusky eat? Well, they eat a variety of fish. They eat a lot of sharks. They also eat stingrays. They eat sea turtles, octopus, and you can also find them occasionally feeding on whale carcasses.
The Dusky shark is not known to be aggressive towards divers. However, this is the only shark that has ever chased me out of the water. So jumping in today, I definitely respect this shark, and I'm gonna be watching not only myself, but everybody else in the water with me. It's a beautiful shark, but I don't trust it.
So Randy, there's a lot of controversy about people misidentifying Duskies with silky sharks, especially when they're 5, 6 feet long. Some people are pretty good at it. I've heard some biologists have a rough time with it. So how do you differentiate a Dusky? How do you know that's a Dusky shark when you come up on it?
Oh, it's easy, man. Attitude. You come up on a silky, they're sweet. They come around, you can pass them a little piece of bait at a time, a little piece of chum. They're real happy. They get in the line, they're really polite. Dusky just comes right up, trashes everything, takes what it wants, leaves you, and says, hey, I'm a Dusky. That's what we do, you know? So you can tell pretty quick by their attitude.
So it's all about attitude with the Dusky shark.
But you'll see attitude for sure.
So we're about 3 miles from the first drop where we think the Dusky sharks are gonna be found. And Eli, our first goal really is just to find Dusky sharks. They're not that common. How are we gonna do that?
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use fish and chum to attract the sharks. Duskies by nature are really shy, so unless we have something to entice them, they're not gonna wanna come in. And we're going to an area where spear fishermen see them all the time. So that's the first place we're gonna go look, and we'll see how it goes.
Great, well, our next goal after that is to see how they react to that chum that's in the water. And as we see how worked up they're getting with that chum, we're gonna let either Randy or John Dickinson shoot a fish right in the middle of that pack. And how out of hand do you think that can get?
it can get pretty out of hand. I mean, these sharks are very confident, they're very bold, and if we spear a fish, they're gonna wanna try to grab that fish, and it gets extremely competitive. They're probably not gonna be alone. There might be some bull sharks in the mix, there might be some silkies, so it can be very competitive, and it can get really out of hand really fast.
Blue Water Savages is brought to you by Wall Clippers and Trimmers. Real guys, real grooming. Visit wallrealguys.com.
We're 7 miles offshore from Juno Beach, Florida. We're on the hunt for Dusky Sharks. Our team is gearing up for our first dive.
Everybody in your gear.
Here, it's over 150 feet deep. And this is where you begin to find Dusky Sharks. A large, very bold predator of open water. Our first challenge is to find the pack of Duskies recently reported by spearfishers, to see how they react to chum and us.
So I want to show you a little addition I made on my camera. The most dangerous shark is the one that's behind you. The one in front of you, you can deal with, but the one you can't see behind you, that's a dangerous shark. I actually put a rear view mirror on my underwater camera system. So hopefully, I'll see the sneaky one coming up behind me.
Yeah, he put a rear view mirror on his camera so he can see where he's going when he's backing up, getting away from him.
So I can see the look on my own face.
We take our time gearing up for the first dive, double checking our equipment. Randy Jordan is putting us right on the spot where packs of big Dusky Sharks have been harassing spearfishers. But will they show up today? Our driver Colin sets us up.
The current's pushing these, right?
And we enter the warm, clear water. We're alone at first, but soon, Eli spots a big Dusky Shark racing up to greet us. A female over 7 feet long. She's a beautiful shark, and she's tracking the scent from the chum box. We're joined by a second Dusky, another female, gliding around us completely unafraid, almost unimpressed with us. She's seen humans before. She looks each of us over as we give her space. We haven't really begun to chum yet, but the chum box is already spreading an invisible scent trail for hundreds of yards, attracting even more Duskies. And these big sharks mean business. They sense something is up, and they're waiting for an opportunity. Eli and I watch carefully as Randy begins to grind up chunks of fish on the chum box. And we can see the Dusky Sharks react. And a huge 9-foot female cautiously noses the chum box before gliding away in frustration. While Eli tosses half a fish to a 7-foot Dusky. These sharks are eerily unafraid of us, but that's exactly what Duskies are all about. They are bold, confident, and not easily chased off when they decide they want what you have. But even with chum in the water, these sharks are still pretty well behaved. We notice most of the Duskies have hooks embedded in their mouths or gills, and we attempt to remove them by twisting the shark's tail to momentarily put the shark in a state of tonic immobility. Tonic immobility is a temporary state of paralysis. Breathing and muscle contractions become relaxed, and the shark just sort of checks out, while the grip on the tail is maintained. Randy Jordan uses special pliers to grab and remove the hooks.
We're out here looking for dusky sharks in an ocean where there are no fences. There's no fences. There's nothing that's gonna keep any shark in or out. And then as we get up into mid-water, the first big dusky comes in. Then another big dusky comes in, and then a medium size, and another medium size. Pretty soon they're just swirling around us, and we're in this ballet with dusky sharks. Everybody kept a cool head, and more than once we put the dusky sharks into a state of tonic immobility by grabbing the tail and twisting the tail, because a couple of them had big hooks in the jaw, and we were trying to get those hooks out for them. We did our good deed for the day, but we have 2 more dives left, and we still have a big goal, and that's finding that monster dusky. Oh, here you go.
There you go.
So this is straight from the dusky's mouth. This was just taken from a free-swimming dusky.
"7 miles off the southeast Florida coast, our crew and dive team have located a pack of large dusky sharks and gauged their reaction to chum. The sharks were bold and so far well behaved. Now we're going to crank it up to 11. John Dickinson and Randy Jordan will each try and spear a fish in the middle of the pack of duskies. The sharks are only interested in the fish, but this is still very dangerous. Duskies are big and fast, and they can easily make a mistake. And still out there, a gigantic dusky shark named Shaka, so large that it's been mistaken for a great white. Can we locate that shark and bring it in close?
You know, like most people, the first time I saw a dusky, I didn't know what I was getting into, so I was naturally afraid. People are afraid of what they don't know. And I had heard so many stories about how aggressive they can be, and sure enough, man, I shot a fish and a dusky came over and just slammed it, ate the fish, tore up my spear gun, and just left me just in a state of awe. Since then, after seeing them so much and seeing their behavior and realizing that they're just after the fish, if you don't have fish, it's not like they're gonna come over there and attack you.
As we approach the GPS location of our next dive spot, we begin gearing up, but no one is talking. We all know when a fish is speared in this pack of sharks, it will probably get crazy and dangerous.
I'm good to go, guys.
All right, set them up.
Let's do it.
Although the visibility at the surface is good, as we descend, it becomes murky and green. Randy wastes no time spreading out a trail of chum, while Eli and I watch and wait for the first shark to show up. Eli seems confident that we're about to have visitors. As if on cue, the pack of dusky sharks return, as bold as ever and ready for action. Randy Jordan greets a big female dusky with a nose rub. And then the first fish is speared. A little tunny, very similar to a bonito. It weaves its way around the divers. And, as if someone flipped a switch, the dusky sharks come alive. The first attempt is a miss, but the dusky whirls around for another try as the fish dives deep. Randy grabs the shaft, trying to control the fish, as a big female dusky charges in to claim the prize. Another dusky roars into the scene to claim any remaining chunks. And just as suddenly as it began, it's now over. And the sharks return to patrolling the area.
That's the difference between chumming and live shark. Hey, grab that gun, will you? I was waiting for you to shoot a bonito.
Well, we just witnessed a dusky feeding frenzy. Oh. And John Dickinson actually speared a little tunny, which is kind of like a bonita. And right in front of my camera, you got to see exactly what a Dusky Shark's personality is like when they want your fish.
That was awesome. Oh, man.
Hey, you know what? You can never get bored down there. All we gotta do is shoot a fish. Oh, hell breaks loose.
They get excited, man.
Yeah, they do.
We have seen some big, huge Dusky Sharks, and even though they've been well behaved, that last dive, we got them worked up. So now you've seen what they behave like around chum, what they behave like around divers when everything's calm, and when you spear a fish and there's a Dusky around and he wants your fish, give it to him.
7 miles offshore from Juno Beach, Florida, we're on the hunt for Dusky Sharks, a big predator that prowls outer coastal waters in the open sea. We've observed their behavior when chum is in the water, and we almost induced a full-blown feeding frenzy by spearing a fish while surrounded by a pack of Dusky Sharks. We have only one goal remaining, an encounter with Shaka, a monster 14-foot Dusky Shark recently seen in these waters.
I've personally seen that 14-foot Dusky right here at this location. That is one impressive shark. In fact, the first time I saw it, I thought it was a great white. It took a double take to realize it was the biggest Dusky I've ever seen.
Randy Jordan prepares a special box of chum. We have one more dive to find the monster Dusky Shark, so quality matters. We're all fantasizing an encounter with this huge shark. It would be burned into our minds forever.
A 12-foot Dusky is a massive, massive shark. A 14-foot Dusky has got to be ridiculous.
I would imagine that shark is probably around the 12-foot range. If it's a 14-foot, this is a monster. And if they're mistaking this shark for a great white, we're talking about a very, very big shark. Either way, whatever side, 12-foot, 14-foot, I can't wait to see it.
Randy wastes no time in creating a thick rain of chum, and Dusky Sharks begin showing up. These sharks are all 7 to 9 feet, and some of them must weigh over 300 pounds. But we're looking for a shark that's 12 to 14 feet and in the 700-pound class. Duskies are mysterious to most divers and fishermen. They're rarely seen and identified, which seems odd for such a large and noble predator of the open ocean. They are powerful, cautious, intelligent sharks, and we're all thrilled to have encountered so many large Duskies. Yet we're also running out of time to find the monster Dusky. The thought of encountering this huge shark has totally consumed us, but hope is quickly fading. Randy Jordan begins tapping his knife on his spear shaft in a last-ditch effort to attract the monster Dusky within camera range. But we're running out of air. Our time is up, and we head for the surface. I say goodbye to the Dusky that's been keeping me company. Eli says it all with a shrug. Even though we've had an extraordinary day diving with Dusky Sharks, not finding that monster Dusky is a big letdown for each of us.
Thank you, buddy. Eli, it's been an incredible day. To see this many Duskies, to see this many big Duskies is extremely rare. And to see so many sides of their personality and to see so many different behaviors is extremely rare. But that's what this show is about, is shark behavior and how human behavior affects shark behavior. But Eli, we didn't pay off the 14-footer.
No, we didn't. That shark is still a myth to me. Until I see that shark, it's just, it's just a big fisherman's tale. However, it's really exciting to see all these other Duskies out here because there's a lot of big sharks. And if you've got these big sharks here, chances of a 14-foot shark living in this area or migrating through the area is possible.
Up. Even though we didn't encounter it today, John Dickinson, one of our crew members, has seen it twice and has got great video of it. So we're going to show you what a 14-foot Dusky Shark actually looks like, and you can draw your own conclusions.
A few things are clear in this video. This is a huge shark, over 12 feet long. It's probably a Dusky. And it appears to be a female, which makes sense because female Duskies grow much larger than males. And like most big sharks, she's very shy.
This is a big ocean, and monster sharks do exist, but they're seldom seen. The reason they survive long enough to reach such a massive size is because they are extremely wary individuals. Our group may have just been too much for the monster Dusky, but she's still out here, and we'll be back. And we'll see you next week on Blue Water Savages.